Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be the first update for my whole collection, Project Pan. This Project Pan was created originally by Becky Loves Kanga, and she is always linked in my description box. In this project you use your makeup inventory and randomly select the products to work on. This is one of my favorite projects to do, even though it's really hard to strategize around, but I always end up using up or just getting use out of products I wasn't reaching for originally, and that's really great for me. I do have a mixture of like lower usage goals, finish goals, some higher usage like 20 in this project. I really aim to keep this moving through the year, and I have a maximum of 2 products per category. With the exception of eyeshadow, I only want 1 randomly generated eyeshadow in this project. But I'm excited to share my progress with you. We do have some rollouts, which is really exciting, especially for the first update. Typically my rollouts don't happen at the beginning of the year. They kind of happen a little later on. So I'm feeling really good about this project this year. The eyeshadow that was pulled in comes from my Colourpop Malibu Barbie, and it's the last shade in the palette called SoCal, this orange shade. I set a 10 use goal on this. This palette was untouched at the time of it being rolled in. It was in my makeup drawer of shame, so I didn't want to try and like hit pan on it or anything, and this vibrant orange isn't, well, this whole palette isn't really seasonally appropriate, so I thought 10 uses was a good goal. I have used it 2 out of 10 times so far. I created my makeup look today using this palette, and the first time I used this palette I used multiple shades as well, which is another goal I have with, even with randomized eyeshadows, I want to get use out of the palette as a whole. So 2 out of 10 so far on this one. Next up, I rolled in a sampler. It was the Rare Beauty Liquid Blush in the shade Bliss. I had this open for a little over 2 weeks, I think. I have a clothespin closing this particular shade, and unfortunately after about 2 weeks it did dry into a solid, like, it's rock hard. I used it 8 times in those 2 weeks, and I really enjoyed this shade. It was the matte formula and a light pink, but it's not one that I feel super strongly about purchasing, which is really good. And that was the only shade in my inventory from the sampler, because these 2 highlighter shades, which are Transcend and Flaunt, are too deep for my skin tone, and Joy here I already own. So I'm going to hand off the other 3 shades to someone else to give a try if they want to. But this is technically done. It's dried up. It was just a sample, and I used it quite a lot while it was open, so I'm happy to be rolling this out. It is removed from my makeup inventory and we get to roll in something else. I had a second blush in this project, and that is the Essence The Blush in the shade 10 Befitting. I set a 20 use goal on this blush because it is a really neutral everyday color, and it was also in my makeup drawer of shame. I have used this 4 out of 20 times so far. It is the blush I'm wearing today. I think it's really beautiful, but there's another blush that I'm trying to hit pan on, so I reach for that one more often than this one. But so far, like once a week-ish, I have been reaching for this, and I should definitely reach for it more than that, but I'm happy to just keep working on this. I was very surprised that 2 nail colors were randomly generated. I don't think that has ever happened before. I've definitely had nail color in this project pan before, but just not 2 of them. The first is the Formula X nail color in the shade Ignite. I have a 3 use goal on both of these. I feel like that is sufficient for a nail polish. So far I have used Ignite 2 out of 3 times. I painted my fingernails with this, and I currently have this on my toes. It's a really great, very dark red shade, and the Formula X nail polish is my favorite in my collection, and I'm really sad this formula has been discontinued. When it was on my nails, it didn't look super chipped and disgusting for a week. And for me, that's really good for just regular nail polish. And I am someone that like bakes, I cook from scratch every day, I'm doing the dishes by hand. I'm using my hands every day, and so nail polish typically doesn't last, but this formula does. The other nail color is a Madam Glam Soak Off Gel Polish in It's Fine. It is a neutral. This is going to be a great shade to use. I just haven't had the time to dedicate to putting gel on my fingers. My intention was fingers with Ignite, then fingernails with this, and I just simply haven't had the time yet. So unfortunately I haven't used this at all yet, but I definitely will get there. I again have 3 uses on this, so I'm at 0 out of 3. Lastly, I have 6 products in this project pan. Was the Trust Fund Beauty Lipgasm Lip Scrub. It is just a little guy that I got in an Ipsy like 100 years ago. I used this 5 times to finish it off. This was the lip scrub I had been focusing on finishing for quite a long time now. It was already in my shower when it was randomly generated for this project. I just feel like I don't really need a lip scrub product. Like, I really hate using them. I would be willing to try one like the e.l.f. one that's in like a bullet lipstick format. But I don't like these at all. I hate applying them, and honestly, if my lips are feeling really chapped and gross, I like putting on a lip oil or a lip mask, letting that sink in, and then when I wash my face, taking a face cloth and really gently just like buffing the dead skin off, and I feel like that works just as well and is less messy. All that's to say is this is an empty. It was getting quite dried out, like the oily bits had gone and it was just mostly the sugary part, which was fine, but I will admit the very last use I squeezed out as much as I could, which I mean is empty now, but like there wasn't that much in there, but it was more than to do my lips. So I scrubbed just a tiny bit my elbows and my knees to finish this off because I was just so sick of using it. Also, this being in the shower and so small, it was really hard to like use with wet hands. I'm making excuses, but this is also an empty. So I will be rolling out 2 products this update, which means we'll be rolling 2 new things in. The only thing I cannot roll in is eyeshadow, of course, and no more nail color. I already have my Pretty Random app ready to go. I have in the numbers 2 to 541. That is all of the beauty products in my collection, excluding eyeshadows. So first up we have 511, which is a face mask. So that is really great because I'm horrible at using face masks. And we have lastly 301, and 301 is a bronzer. So I'm going to go grab both of those products and I'll be right back. Alright, I am back. I went and grabbed my 2 new products and they're both itty bitty, which I think is fun. Firstly, it is the Summer Fridays Jet Lag Mask. This is for hydration and it is the 10 gram size or 0.35 fluid ounces. I have been hesitant to try this mask even though I've wanted to try it ever since I received this little guy, but I've been hesitant because I've heard some people have really extreme like skin reactions to this. And obviously like other people's skin allergies or sensitivities has nothing to do with how my skin will react, but it's just made me a little bit hesitant. It says on cleansed dry skin, apply a thin even layer. Leave on for 10 minutes for maximum hydration. No need to rinse. Interesting. It just says like wipe off, but you don't have to wash it off. It is still sealed, so obviously my goal is going to be to finish this 10 grams of product. I'm guessing it's going to take 5 or 6 uses to finish. I honestly have no idea, but this is the perfect time of year to use this. My skin is feeling quite parched, so my goal will be to finish this. And secondly is this super tiny bronzer I again received in an Ipsy bag. Finally getting to these products. I haven't been subscribed to Ipsy for a very long time. This is the Balm Bahama Mama bronzer, but it is the size of a little eyeshadow. I have successfully used this as a bronzer. I just take my bronzer brush and kind of like really roll it in there. That's why my packaging is completely disgusting. This is getting super old. I think my goal is going to be to hit pan on this, even if that is using it as an eyeshadow sometimes, using it as a bronzer, and I'm also very close to finishing a bronzer that may or may not need to be repressed. So I would love to hit pan on this in this packaging, but then maybe scrape it out and combine it with something else to move it out of my collection eventually this year. Finishing this is not going to be my goal in this project specifically because I think that will involve frankening and that just extends things too much for this project pan, but I am going to have the goal to hit pan on this because it is so old and it's very small. This has been used many times in my collection. How much product is in here? 0.57 grams of bronzer. That's not very much. I am absolutely loving that this project is giving me not only makeup, but some like the lip scrubs, the nail polish, now the face mask. I think that's really fun and has definitely helped like reinvigorate me on this project, and I'm feeling less burnt out because it's also giving me things that are easy to move out of my collection, which I don't think it ever has before. So that's going to help me keep this project moving, and I'm also getting like some really old neglected products, which is just amazing. I love this project. My goals for next time will obviously to be rolling out this nail color. I only need to use it one more time. And then I would love to use this face mask at least once a week, and maybe that will lead to an empty for next month. I don't want to overuse this. My skin is moderately sensitive, so I don't want to like overwhelm it, and masking really is not a part of my routine, unfortunately, though I do have masks in my collection that are neglected. But this is quite small, and if I can find a way to work this into like a weekly routine, it might be gone for next update or at least be very close to it. So I would love to have 2 rollouts again next month, but it'll be fine with just one if need be. But that is everything for this month's update for the whole collection project pan. I am really loving this project, as I do every year, and I'm really happy with the variety that I'm getting so far this year. Let me know how you're doing in your project pans so far this year, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up so that I know, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!